It's Tuesday, February 6th. Welcome to the AI Factor. I'm Noah Wave, your guide on this exciting journey through today's news. In today's news roundup, Senate Republicans clash with Democrats over a $118 billion border policy bill paired with aid for Ukraine, Israel, and allies, stalling progress as GOP resistance, led by McConnell, triggers gridlock. California battles severe flooding and power outages from an atmospheric river, while Trump's legal defense preps for Supreme Court hearings on the January 6th insurrection. House Republicans initiate unprecedented impeachment proceedings against Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. King Charles III's cancer diagnosis prompts global support, and the House Freedom Caucus criticizes a Senate border security compromise, intensifying the debate on immigration policy. Are you ready for a deep dive into the AI factor? Senate Republicans are currently at odds with their Democratic counterparts over a highly anticipated border policy bill that also includes aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies. The $118 billion package, which pairs border enforcement policy with wartime aid, has been met with resistance from GOP senators who argue that the bill does not go far enough in addressing border security concerns. In a dramatic turnaround, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell recommended that his fellow GOP senators vote against the first procedural vote, citing the need for more stringent border enforcement measures. This move has been met with criticism from some Republicans, including Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who have declared the bill dead on arrival in the House. The situation has left the fate of aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies in doubt as the two parties struggle to reach a compromise on the bill. Senate negotiators released the text of the bill in hopes that the details would win over skeptics, but it appears that the rightward tilt of the negotiations has not been enough to garner support from all Republicans. As the debate continues, it remains to be seen whether the Senate can reach an agreement on the border policy bill and secure much-needed aid for Ukraine and other U.S. allies. An atmospheric river has been battering California with heavy rain and intense winds over the past week, causing widespread flooding, power outages, and other severe weather-related issues. The powerful storm system, fueled by a weather phenomenon known as an atmospheric river, has brought hurricane-force winds and torrential rain to the region. Atmospheric rivers are narrow bands of water vapor that transport large amounts of moisture from the tropics to the U.S. West Coast. When they are especially windy and filled with large amounts of water vapor, atmospheric rivers can unleash extreme weather. The storm has already dumped several inches of rain across California, with more expected in the coming days. Southern California, including Los Angeles and San Diego, has been under a rare, high risk of flash flooding as the storm continues to wreak havoc in the region. The National Weather Service has warned that the Los Angeles River will fill quickly and become a raging river and a very dangerous place to be. In addition to heavy rain, the storm has brought hurricane wind warnings and a tornado threat to the state. Northern California has experienced downed trees and power outages, while Southern California is bracing for the worst of the storm's impacts. The atmospheric river has caused widespread damage and disruptions throughout the state. In San Jose, a 100-feet redwood tree crashed onto a car, trapping a girl inside. In Long Beach, a car was submerged in water after rain from the storm hit the area. As the storm continues to move through California, residents are urged to take precautions and stay safe. Donald Trump's legal team has made a final effort to convince the Supreme Court that he did not engage in an insurrection, as they prepare for oral arguments in a Colorado ballot case. The case, which will be heard by the Supreme Court on February 8, 2024, could have significant implications for Trump's political future, as a ruling against him could potentially disqualify him from appearing on the 2024 presidential ballot in Colorado and possibly other states. The case centers around a provision in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that bars individuals who have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States from holding public office. Trump's legal team argues that the events of January 6, 2021 do not constitute an insurrection and that the former president did not engage in any actions that would disqualify him from running for office. In their final effort to sway the Supreme Court, Trump's legal team has submitted a detailed brief outlining their arguments and providing evidence to support their position. They argue that the events of January 6th were not an insurrection because the protesters did not have a clear objective to overthrow the government or prevent the peaceful transfer of power. They also contend that Trump's actions and statements on that day do not meet the legal definition of engaging in an insurrection. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching consequences for Trump's political future and the 2024 presidential election. If the Supreme Court rules against Trump, it could set a precedent for other states to challenge his eligibility to appear on their ballots. This could significantly impact his chances of securing the Republican nomination and ultimately winning the presidency. As the oral arguments approach, both sides are preparing to present their cases and make their final appeals to the Supreme Court justices. The court's decision will likely be closely watched by political observers and could have a significant impact on the 2024 presidential race. In a significant development, the Republican-led House Rules Committee has voted to send an impeachment case against Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas to the full chamber for a vote. This move marks the first time in nearly 150 years that a cabinet secretary could be impeached. The decision to advance the impeachment case was made after a contentious 15-plus-hour meeting, where the GOP-led House Homeland Security Committee voted to advance 2 articles of impeachment against Mayorkas. The articles accuse him of willful and systematic refusal to comply with the law and breach of public trust over the administration's handling of the migrant crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. Democrats have criticized the impeachment effort, arguing that the allegations against Mayorkas do not meet the constitutional basis for impeachment and that the process is a sham. Republicans, on the other hand, believe that Mayorkas has repeatedly violated the law by allowing the release of migrants awaiting court proceedings and has obstructed congressional oversight of the Department of Homeland Security. The full House could vote on Mayorkas' impeachment as soon as next week. If approved, the charges would go to the Senate for a trial, where a 2/3 majority would be required to convict and remove him from office. As the process unfolds, it remains to be seen whether the impeachment case against Mayorkas will ultimately result in his removal from office or if it will be a symbolic gesture by House Republicans. King Charles, the monarch of the United Kingdom, has recently been diagnosed with cancer. This news has come as a shock to the public, and many are expressing their support and well wishes for the king as he begins treatment. The palace has stated that the king has chosen to make his diagnosis public to prevent speculation and to raise awareness for those affected by cancer. The specific type of cancer has not been disclosed, but it is known that it was discovered during a recent hospital procedure for a benign prostate enlargement. During this time, King Charles will be stepping back from public duties as monarch and head of state while he undergoes treatment. Despite this, he will continue to carry out his official duties and state business as usual. This news has brought together people from all over the world who are sending their support and best wishes to King Charles during this difficult time. The palace has thanked the king's medical team for their work and has stated that he remains positive about his treatment. Cancer is a serious medical condition that can affect anyone, and this news serves as a reminder of the importance of regular health checkups and screenings. It is a difficult time for the royal family and the nation, but the support and well wishes from the public will undoubtedly provide comfort and strength to King Charles as he begins his treatment. The House Freedom Caucus, a group of conservative Republican lawmakers, has strongly criticized the recently unveiled border security compromise in the Senate. The proposed deal aims to tighten current immigration and asylum laws while also providing funding for border security measures. The Freedom Caucus members argue that the Senate's proposal does not go far enough in addressing the ongoing migrant crisis. They have called on their conservative Senate colleagues to reject the bill, claiming that it is a dumpster fire and a sellout of American interests. The criticism from the House Freedom Caucus has put additional pressure on the Senate to reconsider the proposed deal. If the bill fails to pass the Senate, it is unlikely to be taken up by the House, where Republican leadership has already expressed strong opposition to the measure. The situation at the border remains a pressing issue, with both parties seeking to address the influx of migrants and improve border security. The Senate's proposed compromise represents an attempt to find a bipartisan solution, but it has been met with significant resistance from the House Freedom Caucus and other conservative lawmakers. As the debate over the Senate's border security compromise continues, it remains to be seen whether the bill will be able to garner enough support to pass both chambers of Congress. The outcome of this process will have significant implications for U.S. immigration and border security policy in the coming years. As we wrap up this episode of The AI Factor, we invite you to join us again for another captivating journey of the news. If you enjoyed today's exploration, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to stay updated on future episodes. If you have thoughts, questions, or intriguing stories you'd like us to explore, feel free to reach out to us at podcast@aifactor.news. Remember, we're committed to providing unbiased perspectives. We will never pull you left or right. Our mission is to take you straight to the facts. Stay curious, stay informed, and always keep an eye on the ever-changing landscape of the news. Until next time, this is Noah Wave, signing off.